lower house prices, more disposable income, they're paying less interest on their mortgage, and their industries are going well. What the hell's happening to Auckland and Wellington? We are back in your live, and today, brought to you by Lighthouse Financial, we're talking about the great divide between the North Island and the South Island. Mike, for the last few years, we've been talking about we're in a recession, but parts of the economy are in a recession.
Yeah, those dirty Southlanders. They just keep going up.
Yeah,
Queenstown, it's its own economy. Christchurch been outperforming a lot of people. Yeah. It's quite interesting when you look at it and some of the reasons why. I've got my own opinions as to why, and they might not be what you expect.
Yeah, I mean, you look at meat and dairy exports, right? Hitting nearly $40 billion this year. Wild stuff. So, Mike, where do we want to start with this one?
I think let's start with the GDP, right? Let's look at the two-speed economy, because we really do have two independent economies kind of pedaling at two different speeds at the moment, right? And, you look at the regional GDP in 2024, for example. Auckland, 157 billion. That is almost 13% of New Zealand's GDP. What a powerhouse we are up here. Wellington, 51 billion, 4.1% of GDP. Not such a powerhouse down in Wellington. Canterbury, 46 billion. Waikato, 36 billion. Otago, 18 billion. And Southland, 8.8 billion. So, yep, it is largely centered around Auckland. I'd probably put that down to population size.
Yeah. And just, there's a lot of businesses up here doing stuff.
There's a lot of business doing business things.
157 billion for Auckland. Seems pretty small.
We're a small country. We're a suburb in Sydney.
Pretty much. The next piece is around median house prices. Now, house prices by themselves don't matter, but the stat we give you afterwards will. So Auckland house prices are a little over $1 million. Waikato about 750 grand. Same for Wellington. Canterbury's about 700,000. Otago's about 700,000, and that will be on the move quite a bit. And Southland just shy of half a million dollars. But Michael, the house prices in isolation don't matter too much, although it will make people feel wealthier when they're going up. One thing that will have impacted people over the last few years is the size of their mortgage because of what's happened to interest rates. So how much are people's mortgages?
Yeah, so on average, they're about 70% of the house value. Auckland, about $1 million is your average house price, 700,000 is your average home loan. Wellington, 767 is your average house price. 570 is your average home loan. So Canterbury, 710,000 is your median house price. Canterbury home loans, 430,000. So all of those are kind of roughly around that 70% mark. The outlier there is Southland. So Southland, 490,000 is your average house price. 485,000 is your average home loan. So something is kind of out of whack in terms of the makeup of that market. So maybe there are some larger farms or something pulling that average loan size up, where the majority of the house prices sit in a slightly different kind of sector.
Yeah, that is interesting. So, I mean, the big thing that's happened over the past few years, which has impacted how people have felt, is one, house prices have dropped, which if your house prices drop, people feel poorer. The second thing that's happened is interest rates have been far higher, right?
Yeah.
And if you're in Auckland and you've got a $700,000 mortgage versus in Canterbury, you've got a $400,000 mortgage and interest rates go up 3% higher, that's an extra $12,000 of costs that Aucklanders are carrying compared to people in Christchurch. And if you kind of extrapolate that across the whole city, it is going to make a huge difference to the economy, isn't it?
It absolutely does. I think that when we're looking at, what we're looking at there as a driver of economic activity is a debt to income ratio, right? Because the house price to the average loan size will make a difference because there's some affordability dialed in there. But fundamentally what we're looking at is a debt to income ratio. And if your debt to income ratio is high in that city, it means that there is less money to be flowing out into the sectors of the economy, right? The economy will be less busy because the bank is taking more of that money, especially when interest rates are high. And I think you can probably see that in the fact that you've got lower loan sizes down south and higher loan balances up north.
Let's break down Auckland versus Christchurch, just so we've got less players to talk about for a second, although we love you all equally. So in Auckland, your income is about 10% higher than in Christchurch, right? But Mike, your mortgage is not 10% difference, is it?
It's about 30% higher in Auckland than it is down south. So again, what does that mean? That means that people in Christchurch should have more disposable income than people in Auckland because they're spending less on their mortgage.
And if we were to break it down a little bit more in terms of pros of Christchurch, you got this beautiful brand new city. Granted, it's a little bit chilly, but you love the cold, don't you?
Oh, see, this was actually one of the reasons that I was talking about at the top of the podcast. I said some of the reasons that I think the major cities down south are outperforming the North Island is around infrastructure, right? Christchurch got to rebuild its entire city, not got to for a great reason, it was an earthquake, but they had to rebuild their entire city. So the infrastructure in Christchurch is really good, right? Queenstown, yeah, they got some problem with traffic at the moment, but relatively speaking, the infrastructure is pretty good and it's also very pretty. The seasons, James, I love a season, right? In Auckland, we have these phenomenal 4 seasons: muggy and rainy, muggy and sunny, muggy and windy, muggy and a little bit sunny, right? Down south, you actually have different seasons. Yeah, I think down south a great place to live. Every time we settle a house or a property for someone in like Queenstown, I'm like, God damn, I could live down there.
Yeah, I did do that. Think of that too. I was like, build a little investment client book, a couple hundred clients,
Mate,
live down
should
there.
we do it? Lighthouse Queenstown.
I'm
not going to go skiing. It's too dangerous for me.
Yeah, those swollen knees.
The knees aren't swollen.
Yeah.
They just hurt.
Yeah. So incomes are higher, but it's all about disposable income. And your disposable income in the regions is higher than those of the major centres because of how much debt you're carrying.
Yeah, 100%. There's other reasons why some of those regions are pulling ahead. And a lot of it has to do with the type of industry that are in those regions and how that industry has been performing over time, right? Like, let's take some of the major South Island kind of regions and cities as an example. You have a lot of primary industry down there, a lot of export-driven industry, right? So meat, dairy, those type of things. And I was talking to someone the other day around like food prices in New Zealand and why we always think it's so expensive compared to the rest of the world. James, where do most of the people live in the world? Northern Hemisphere or the Southern Hemisphere?
Northern
Hemisphere, right. When you buy things that are out of season in the supermarket in New Zealand, are they expensive or cheap?
They're expensive.
If you want a blueberry in winter, how that's pricey, right?
Nah, let's talk about Cooper loves a raspberry. And he's like looking at these $10 punnets. I'm like, mate, we're not doing that. It's way too expensive.
Exactly, right? So we are selling our goods that are in season to the other side of the world where they are out of season. So they will pay a lot more for them. So that's why a lot of our food is expensive because we're selling it everywhere when we can get a really good price for it.
Demand and supply,
James.
If we look at some of those primary industries, we look at beef. The export value has hit $11 a kilo, which is a record. Revenue's up 6.9% to nearly $5 billion. Lamb has gone up as well, Mike, 7%, nearly over the last 12 months, nearly $4 billion. UK lamb prices. Thank God, Michael, you don't live in the UK anymore. It's gone from $9.86 a kilo to $15. What's happening to the sheep in the UK?
I always remember it like lamb has been really cheap when I was over there. Yeah, it was a long time ago. Thank you, Emily. Yeah, I am old. Yeah, so if you look at those as well, obviously dairy is the big one. Forecast to be up 16%, 27 billion for the year year end of June 2025. Yeah, look, all of our primary industries are having a pretty good run at the moment. I don't see that slowing down. I think our primary industries are going to keep having a good run for quite some time. As the world becomes more populated and because New Zealand's climate is still, it's definitely changing, but it hasn't been impacted quite as much as some of the other spots in the world that farm. So I think our primary producers are in for a pretty good run for quite some time.
Yeah. It's got a negative correlation with, remember Beyond Meat? And like Beyond Meat and the share price, and it just it was one of the highest growing companies, and so it's like 99% of its value.
Didn't Burger Fuel do a Beyond Meat burger at one point?
Yeah, I think they got some like fake beef, fake chicken stuff going on.
Yeah, was that the artificially grown meat, or was that the like tofu meat? Beyond Meat.
I hear a lot of that stuff's not that good for you. So if we break it down just for a few regions, not just around house prices, because there's definitely a theme going on here. Waikato, strong in dairy, meat, food processing, and energy. Lower hardship levels than Auckland and more stability. Canterbury and Christchurch are diversified than a lot of other parts of the country. Agriculture, manufacturing, freight, construction, and a little bit of tourism, Mike, because they've got this brand new city. Otago, Mike, people like to go to Otago. I had my wedding in Otago. Beautiful views. Mate, you were standing up. Bring up the picture, Emma. Mike standing next to me at the wedding.
Is Queenstown Otago?
Yes.
Huh. Right. Okay. I thought it was something else.
Well, what's Queenstown? Queenstown.
Southland?
No.
Really? How far? Queenstown's pretty far south.
Yep.
I was there the other day.
But Otago goes that way, and then Southland's that way.
Ah, right. Southland Stags. Great rugby team.
Yeah. Otago's got tourism, wine, education, agriculture. We get to
Sounds
go
like a great place, eh? Tourism, wine, agriculture, education. Just sounds like ancient Greece.
And then we look at Southland, dairy, meat, aluminium, as some people like to say, fishing, hydro, and they've got cheap houses. Yeah. So the question is, okay, so we got for some of those regions, lower house prices, more disposable income, they're paying less interest on their mortgage, and their industries are going well. What the hell's happening to Auckland and Wellington? And we're going to talk about that after this break.
If you're sick of hearing about other people's Spotify Wrapped and you want to hear about ours, James, give them some stats.
We're up 50% year on year, and that's all thanks to you.
There's 5,500 of you that followed us in the last 12 months. But James, we don't want to be growing like Auckland. We want to be growing like Southland.
We do. Go the mighty Southland. So our goal for the next 12 months is we want to grow the podcast by 100%. We want to make a positive impact to Kiwis so they can make better money decisions. The only way we're going to do that is if you hit that subscribe button, you follow us so we can keep doing what we're doing. Now, back to the episode.
All right, James. So Southland, South Island, Christchurch. Sounds amazing. We've got education, wine, fishing, aluminum. Auckland and Wellington, what are we working with here? We've got finance, insurance, technical services, manufacturing, and construction. Wellington, we've got public sector, public administration and safety, technical services, financial services, and government public sector wages, consultancy, and tech.
Don't make fun of Auckland and Wellington.
If you said to me, Mike, which one sounds more idyllic? Do you want to go fishing, drink wine, and look at aluminum? Or do you want to look at professional and technical services and public sector knowledge work? Oh, mate, I'll be down south there.
I hate to break it to you, but do you know what we are? This is just going Auckland and Wellington as finance bros.
Yeah. Well, no. Auckland is finance bros and Wellington is public sector bros?
Yeah, pretty much. They go around writing papers and building committees. So, look, it's not surprising that, mortgage market's gone down, housing market's gone down, mortgage market's gone down, that economy's not really working the way we want it to. And in Wellington, the government's gone, we're going to cut a bunch of jobs, and unsurprisingly, that's not good for the economy either.
Nah, it's not. I do feel for everyone down in Wellington, it's been a pretty tough few years. And I think what highlights it is not just that it's down now, but it was riding so high during like the last government and the last kind of like spike that we had. And I think it's kind of, they've been hit with a double whammy, whereas, everyone else, yep, we're riding high, but maybe it's not as severe as a drop, basically.
Yeah, but they still got Dragonfly, so we still got Dragonfly.
Dragonfly is an institution, that's been around for. Last time we were down there, we went to Dragonfly.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was a good time. Let's talk about some unemployment numbers, Mike. Wellington in particular is not good.
Yeah, 9,520 public sector cuts to date. Not good stats.
So, I mean, Mike, the South Island's just got so many more things. They've got more disposable income. They're doing much cooler stuff with aluminium. They get to go fishing. They get to drink wine. They might get to fish and drink the wine while we talk about insurance and mortgages.
Yeah, look, James, I think people vote with their feet, right? People are moving further south. And for the life of me, I can't figure why you moved to Auckland over Christchurch at the moment.
What do you reckon? Are we going to stay here or are we going to go down south?
I would love to go to Queenstown, man. I think Queenstown's beautiful. Like
Not Wanaka? Do you feel like Queenstown's like, a bit too popular? Like people from Queenstown, like the OG people from Queenstown have moved to Cromwell and that sort of thing. Should we move to Cromwell?
Like I heard of this band. I liked them before they were cool.
Yeah, 100%. Same thing. Queenstown's not cool anymore. I hear that
Wanaka
stuff
is
all the
cool.
time.
I've only been to Queenstown and Wanaka down there. You know me.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think it's really. I love it down there. Yeah.
The interesting thing is I always believe things revert to the mean. So what I'm keen to hear in the comment section is over the next 3 years, which part of the country do you think will perform better? The North Island or the South Island? North v South, let us know in the comment section. We'll wrap it up there. Make sure to like, subscribe, review. We'll catch you next time.
Cheers.